Hi, welcome to another episode of Ageless Woman Cooking with Danna and Robyn. We're going to do another busy woman recipe because we know many women are quite busy. This one we're calling Crockpot chili. So, Robyn, there's some controversy over beans, at least in your house, because you don't exactly digest them well. They're not for everybody.
No, I love them, but I stay away from them because, the controversy is my husband is not happy when I eat them. And I can't go out in public.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you don't stay away from them, people stay away from you.
Exactly.
So before we dig into our recipe, and this one is fast and simple, we're going to talk just a little bit, educate you a little bit on beans and why some people have an issue, some of the solutions to that if you love them. Because let's face it, if you're trying to stretch your grocery budget, beans are very inexpensive. They're filling. They definitely are a great source of protein, but
fiber.
And fiber.
High fiber.
But they do have a little bit of a downside. So let's talk a little bit about how do you know besides just being a little gassy.
Yeah, and that downside is if we want to just talk a little bit about what's happening in your body and why some people have issues. Danna can eat them all day long and she doesn't have a problem. And we've talked about this before, but everybody has their own internal digestive, I call it an ecosystem.
Right.
Bacteria that lives in there, and not necessarily bad that I don't have bad bacteria down there just because beans make me have gas. But what happens is there's these sugars in beans, and when those sugars are broken down, they get into the lower intestine. We have bacteria in there that goes to eat these sugars. I always think of Pac-Man eating them up.
I do too.
And the byproduct of those bacteria eating those sugars can be really extreme gas. Danna's ecosystem and the bacteria in her lower intestine is different than mine. That's why she doesn't have that reaction and I do. Now my Dr. Stangler, just told me about a product that I bought. I haven't used it yet. It's called Enzymetica. Bean Assist, and it's an enzyme. It's not just your typical enzyme, it is specifically for beans. So we're hoping that it will work really well.
And a lot of people have heard of Beano, but this is supposed to be a higher level enzyme, so you can try that. So, and then there's another aspect to beans. Why, if you love them, even if you digest them well, you don't want to eat them too often. They can be a part of your diet, but let's talk a little bit about that other aspect that people just need to know about.
Okay, well, let's talk about canned beans because we are doing the busy woman recipe, which obviously cans are easy. You open it up and toss them in.
Right.
But these beans beans have what's called phytates. It's an anti-nutrient, and what it means is that your body, there's like a protective mechanism so that your body can't break them down completely, and the phytates will leach minerals from your body, so it actually has a negative impact in that way. So you don't want to eat canned beans all the time. Hey, if you're doing it once in a while, that's going to be fine. If you want to eat beans a little bit more regularly, a good way to eat them would be to buy your beans dry and then soak them in maybe a couple tablespoons, depending, on how many you have, how many cups you have. 2 cups of beans in warm, tepid water, 4 cups of maybe lemon juice, apple cider vinegar. Set it out on your counter. You can cover it with a cheesecloth and soak them for 24, 48, even 72 hours. So you can have them soaking because if you leave them long enough, they'll sprout.
Oh, okay.
They'll get little. Good. Yes, it's good.
That's another positive nutritional benefit. So you bring down the phytates, you increase the sprouting, which gives you a sprouted food. Now, that isn't part of our busy woman recipe today because that takes a little more time. It doesn't really take that long to throw some water and some apple cider vinegar, but you have to wait for it.
Yeah, you have to be thinking ahead. Like if you know I want to make this, it's Sunday and I'm going to make this on Thursday, then you could just have your beans sitting out on the counter.
Right.
And you want to, if you are sprouting them and leave them that long, you could rinse the water.
So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to do the busy woman version for those of you that handle beans fine, straight out of the can. I did choose an organic. Brand is called Organics. I found it at Albertsons here in California. I know it's at quite a few different grocery stores. Just organic. I chose black beans, pinto beans, some white beans, and the red kidney beans, just because I like variety. Then I chose this crushed tomatoes. You can use stewed tomatoes, but this is in a tomato puree, so it just gives me that nice base. You can see the crock pot back here. Turned that on a few hours ago, opened all the beans. These are actually empty cans we're using as props, but opened all the beans and popped them in there, diced up a full onion, threw it in there. So have you noticed? No cooking. Now, if you're a woman that leaves for work, you know, you can throw this in really quickly before you leave for work and let it go. Or, you know, like me, I work from home. But we, of course, want a little bit of meat protein. So to keep it super fast, why don't you tell them one of our favorite foods that you and I almost always have.
These are Angus burgers that are already cooked. We get these at Costco, and they're delicious, by the way. I love them. But they're already made. You don't have to, you know, saute up your meat or brown it or anything. And we just thawed these, and we're going to break them up and throw them in the crock pot. Now, if you don't have them on hand, you can certainly just brown up some ground beef.
Yep. So we're going to add a little bit more to the mix to make, obviously, all these basic ingredients have a little flavor and individualize them. If you like really spicy, some you don't. I always like a little garlic. So even though the onions are in there, I always have on hand pre-chopped garlic because it's so fast and easy. Busy woman, gonna put, you know, a teaspoon or so of that in there. Let's talk about the herbs that you have.
Okay, we have dried cilantro. You could certainly use fresh if you have it and just tear it off. And then parsley.
Okay.
A little dried parsley.
Now, what's going to make it have the chili taste? Of course, chili powder. I don't happen to always have chili powder, so I will sometimes go with the ground cumin. You can do either. And it's really about taste. For the amount that we just told you, these, you know, 5 cans of beans and these 2 large cans of tomatoes, I'm probably going to put close to a tablespoon of cumin or chili powder. Another thing we haven't talked about before, I know you like this too, Robyn, there's a spice we get at Trader Joe's called 21 Season Salute, and it just has a nice variety.
Yeah, it's like dehydrated. It has everything in there. 21 Season, dehydrated onion. It's really good.
So getting these kinds of spices just on hand all the time, if you run out of something, you can toss that in. Certainly you can use tomato paste if you want, and then, you know, salt and pepper to taste. I'm a kind of a salt girl. Everything goes in the crock pot, and truly, if you put your crock pot on high, depending on how long you're going to be away from your home, this can be cooked up and ready to go within 2 to 3 hours. If you're going to be gone all day, you may want to turn it on a lower setting.
You know,
wake up and smell the chili.
How many burgers did we use?
We used 4.
And this makes a huge amount of food.
Show them.
I mean, this is...
Can you see that? Woohoo!
I mean, there's a
full crock pot.
Lot in there. And that's going to serve at least 10 people.
You definitely got some leftovers going. Now, Robyn, I know you could try to taste this without the beans, but let's just share with our viewing audience why you're not even going to taste it today.
Yeah, it's not because of the beans, because we could have made some on the side without the beans, but I am doing a little mini fast today. I do intermittent fasting once a week, sometimes twice. Today I'm doing a 24-hour fast, which means I had dinner last night and I will eat again at dinner tonight.
And why are you doing that?
I am doing that because it helps with my metabolism. It helps with just giving your digestive system a break. It helps to put you into more of a fat burning mode. And it actually just helps me to keep my weight stable.
It's one of the techniques that we encourage our women that do the Ageless Woman Detox program to take advantage of. They don't have to do a full 24 hours. There are studies that even show if you simply don't eat for 12 to 16 hours, say you stop eating at 6 o'clock the evening before, and then the next day you eat again at 8 a.m. That's 14 hours. That can make a difference in your metabolism. So you don't always have to miss, you know, a whole 24 hours of meals. And I love Robyn's technique because she actually doesn't ever go a full calendar day without food. She goes a full 24 hours, but she ends up breaking her fast again tonight. So that's why she's doing that. Well,
But it smells good, by the way. So she's gonna eat.
I'm gonna eat in front of her, and I'm gonna taste it.
And I love the smell of the cumin. Now we have an avocado here, so if you wanted to dice up some avocado, throw it on the top, that's always really delicious in chili, or some shredded cheddar cheese across the top. You know what would be really good? our Brazilian cheese rolls would be really good with
Oh,
this.
yes.
And I would use cheddar cheese instead of Parmesan in it.
Those are a great little grain-free recipe. If you didn't catch that show, they're made with tapioca flour, and those would be delicious with this. So many ways to eat it. And remember, your garnishes, they can add a whole pop of flavor that doesn't add a lot of calories because you're not using a lot. Well, I'm not fasting today, so
No,
you
go
can
ahead
close
and
out
eat.
the show and I'll eat.
Right? Well, by the way, if you are not watching this on our website, you can get all our other recipes, and you can sign up for our email list at agelesswomanliving.com. And we even have some free gifts for you when you do sign up. Also, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just look up Ageless Woman Living.
Yep, lots of great resources for women of all ages, but especially we focus on that ageless, mature woman who needs a little extra help staying lean and healthy for life. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Ageless Woman Cooking.
I forgot what I was going to say.
I was like, I think she's
my brain,
okay,
my
we're good.
brain was like spinning, and I'm like, I hope she helps me here.
I'm gonna-